Hi, this is State Representative Seth Grove. Welcome to another edition of Legislative Report. Today I'm very excited. I'm here at my alma mater, York College. I was a 2002 graduate, and things have changed greatly since I was enrolled here. And I'm very excited to update you on all the awesome things your college is doing, not only on campus, but throughout York County. Joining me, starting it off, is the new provost, a new position at York College, because they've kind of re-gauged everything. Laura Neeson DiBruna, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So when I went here, we didn't have schools, different schools of academic success or academics. So can kind of give us an update on the new academic model that was implemented recently?
Sure. So we have a new president, relatively new, and she came with a new vision, wanting to do something different with academic affairs. So some of our values are that we want to be distinctive, we want our students to be engaged, and we want to be an innovative institution. So what we did was take 11 departments where the majors are housed, obviously, and put them into 5 schools, and I can tell you what those are. But the 5 schools would also be centered around what we call a Center for Collaborative Innovation, a CCI. So the idea there is that we would move outward with 5 schools to get them better organized, give them more leadership potential by hiring new deans, but we would also bring them together to collaborate on interdisciplinary areas which will become innovative. And we're thinking of things like creating a knowledge park, and you said that you're interested in STEM, so we could do that there. And we will have all the faculty working together, faculty fellows, and also we will reach out to the Center for Community Engagement and other areas so that we get to that innovation and we become distinctive, and all the time we're engaging the students in experiential learning. We hold that as one of the major things that we do here that makes us distinctive. The students get hands-on educational experiences, co-ops, internships. They're out in the community. So the CCE is supposed to develop and help the educational piece that intersects with the community. So we call it community-based education. And then there are a lot of other ways in which the directors get out, the leadership gets out and gets involved with various organizations in the community.
Later we'll take a look at your engineering, but it seems your college specifically is works very well with the community, particularly the job creators, and building relationships to really drive jobs that are needed in local community, and matching that with the education.
And that's a good point. I mean, we call York College of Pennsylvania York's College because I think conceptually there was the idea that we would provide this combination of traditional liberal arts so that our students have all those critical thinking skills and they can learn to learn, right? They can shift from job to job, but they also get ready for particular jobs, some of them right here in the community. So you see that with the engineering department. A lot of those students have jobs before they graduate. A lot of them have co-ops right here in the community. Same thing happens in business. A lot of the students have internships right here in the community. So there is maybe more than with some other institutions that are like us, what we call a comprehensive institution, that combination of those two things. We have maybe more or tighter connections between what the students are doing as a major and potential job opportunities right here in York County.
Obviously robust bachelor's degree options throughout the 5 schools that you have now, and then business masters. What other masters do you offer?
Do you want to know what the 5 schools
Yeah,
are?
absolutely.
Because I haven't gotten into that yet, but we didn't have 5 schools before, so I've spent the last 2 years talking to all the faculty, doing some design thinking, some appreciative inquiry, asking them how we should organize ourselves. So we now have, I'll make sure that I remember them, the Kinsley School of Engineering, Sciences, and Technology. We have a School of Nursing and Health Professions, we don't have a lot of health professions yet, but that's to come, that's aspirational. We have a school of behavioral sciences and education. Doesn't have a name yet. We have a school of, well, we have the Graham School of Business, already named. And then the last one is the school, and I love this one, the School of Arts, Communication, and Global Studies. So we don't have the traditional School of Arts and Sciences, and then a School of Business, Education, and Engineering, which would be very typical. 99% of the institutions in the country have that configuration, because we were starting from scratch, if you will, and organizationally. We could do something a little bit more innovative. So I challenge you to find another school of arts, communication, and global studies. I don't think one exists, but we're going to work with that. So you were asking me about master's degrees. Did you want to know some of the new ones?
Yep.
Well, we just introduced a master's in leadership. It's an MA, and it brings together some of the core curriculum in business, but it's also open to undergraduates in any major. So it's sort of a step in between leaving York, and this time you can leave with a master's degree, and going out into the work world. We like to have our students take our MBA, but that's perhaps better suited after you've been out into the world and you have some work experience. We have a very innovative avenue for the MBA, which is called the captive cohort model, sometimes called corporate education, and we're actually doing both. So it's an MBA that we offer to members of the employees at York Water Company and also Shipley Energy. So we design an MBA for a particular group of employees who have leadership potential at those two groups. So that's called the corporate cohort. And then we also have something called a captive cohort. So this is working with the military, and we offer them a master's in administration and finance. So it's a business degree. And we offer it in Rome, New York. And we're going to open some other sites too. But we hire somebody in Rome, and we also have people here, and they take these courses 100% online, right?
Yeah.
So that's a different way of going about the captive cohort model.
Excellent.
So we're doing a lot. So you can see that we're doing the usual. We have a master's in education. We have a master's in educational technology. We have a master's in accounting, which is relatively new. Now, this is all new territory for York College, because we have very few graduate students. And so we've worked on developing that, and we'd like to make that more balanced, because we have almost 4,400 undergrads, but we have about 250 graduate students. So if you want to grow the institution, you have to change that balance. And so I'd like to see us get closer to 1,000 graduate students, maintaining the number of undergrads that we have. That's the way we're going to grow back up to 5,000.
Unfortunately, we're out of time to discuss everything. I'll tell you what, it's great to see all the innovation happening at your college. Really appreciate the leadership and the engagement in the community.
A lot of good people here. Thanks for
absolutely.
coming back.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. With us is Ken Martin, Vice President of Campus Operations, and Dr. Wayne Blanding, Chair of the Engineering and Computer Science here at the ever awesome York College. Right now we're in the Kinsley Engineering Center, which houses the engineering program and the computer science, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and in the backdrop you can just tell what fun we got. Some go-karts or dirt buggies or whatever behind us that the students make. So I'm anxious to get into the engineering program, kind of a newer program for York College, and all that program offers Pennsylvania residents. So maybe we start on, when did York College first start engineering, and kind of what led to the development of it?
Okay. Yeah, we started our first engineering program was mechanical engineering in 1995, and that was really a focus that some industry partners came in and said, we need some homegrown engineers. And so we listened to them. We recruited our first mechanical engineering faculty who started the program, Paul Wojciechowski, And since then, we've just been growing like gangbusters in terms of mechanical engineering. Then later on, we started our computer science, electrical engineering, computer engineering, and now our civil engineering. But it's all really been focused on industry and meeting our industry needs. In fact, most of our alumni and graduates work within about a 4-hour radius of York.
Wow, that's exciting. So your engineering program now is taken off. How many enrollees do you have in the program?
Right now, combined engineering and computer science, we have about 450 students.
Okay.
And that's doubled since we moved into this building 10
Wow.
years ago.
Wow. So you're over at main campus. We're actually Western campus right now. This was a dilapidated old industrial site, right?
It was a vacant building, but it was York Narrow Fabrics, and so it was really cotton knitting, and they made various components. One of the most interesting is the red tape that kind of circles or pulls together federal documents for storage, and that was actually a contract of York Narrow Fabrics directly from the federal government. So the term red tape really originates right here in
Holy cow.
York, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
But this building sat empty for many years, and so it was an opportunity, since we needed a new facility for engineering, it was an opportunity to take something that wasn't being productive and renovate it to a state-of-the-art educational center. So it was a lot. It was very interesting.
Yeah, walking through, very impressed. Still has that industrial look to it, that industrial feel.
yeah.
Really likes you're coming to work in like that
right.
engineering engineering feel. It's really neat.
And that was purposeful, Seth,
Yeah.
because we wanted to really make sure that it looked kind of like that industrial, and so I love coming to meetings here because you can just gaze at the pipes and the wires and not pay attention to, no, not seriously,
Yeah.
but it's kind of a hands-on experience for engineers to really see what's.
Yeah, and in fact, in our classes, we actually use the building as a training aid. I was sitting in on one of our strength and materials classes, and we have this pillar beam that holds up the roof, and the instructor talked about the strength requirements for that beam and some of the testing they had to do and structural integrity that they had to go through to make sure that the building was safe.
Yeah, I'm just looking at all the exposed beams in here, and teaching right here.
Oh
That's
yes,
awesome. Yeah.
absolutely.
So engineering, obviously you have a couple disciplines, professors, obviously doctorate level. You have adjunct as well, business,
That's right.
business oriented, practicing engineers currently.
Yes, we have right now 19 full-time faculty, engineering, computer science. We employ a number of adjuncts as well who specialize, work for industry during the day. For example, this summer we have an expert in HVAC systems who's coming in to teach our HVAC course. And so he's been living HVAC for the past 20 years, and he's bringing his experience into the classroom.
That's awesome.
And those are the types of adjuncts that we really love to bring in.
Yeah, so you're co-op. So in case people aren't familiar with what a co-op is, can you kind of run through what the co-op is and how the program works?
Right, so our program is a co-op based program. So in order to graduate, our students have to do 3 semesters worth of full-time engineering work at an engineering firm. Each one of those is called a co-op. And so starting in their sophomore year, they take a 1-credit class that teaches them resume writing skills, interviewing skills. Tells them they have to wear a belt when they go to their interview, all those minor things, and don't chew gum.
Yeah.
And then we turn them loose, and our industry partners just hire them right off the bat.
Wow.
In fact, it usually takes about 3 years to cultivate a new company to actually get comfortable enough to hire our co-ops. We recently had one company, Becton Dickinson, who started from nothing to hiring 3 co-ops, and now they regularly hire 3 to 5 co-ops and have about 5 alumni working for them.
Wow.
And that was all within about a 3-year process.
Yeah.
So our industry partners really love the work that our students do, and our students get a year's worth of experience under the belt by the time they graduate. And that pays dividends when they go off to industry for their first full-time job.
So what's the job rate like after graduation?
Yeah, they are definitely in demand. And so what I like to say is within about 90 days of them starting their job search in earnest after graduation, they're placed. And about 30% of the students actually get an offer from one of the places they've co-opted at.
Wow.
So that's another bonus of the co-op program.
But I think that's significant because in the engineering program, we really do have jobs for graduates, and many parents, families sending students here want to make sure that there's something after college, and this is a good testament that I think there are very few graduates that aren't placed fairly soon after they graduate.
Yeah. So I'm a high school student. I want to get into engineering. Obviously, I want to go to the best engineering school in the country here at your college. What do I need to think about to make sure I make the admissions requirements?
Okay, so key thing for engineers is math skills and science skills. And so we're looking for a high school graduate to have a strong college preparatory curriculum in high school, 4 years of math, 4 years of sciences. Doesn't matter which sciences they are, because we're just interested in that scientific method and that thought process. In terms of math skills, we're looking for a student to be at least through pre-calculus. Calculus is a bonus, certainly, and any type of AP credit they can get along the way also adds to their resume there in terms of skills. And then in terms of national test scores, we look at SAT and ACT tests as well. But main thing is, they have to have a keen interest in hands-on engineering, because we're very much a hands-on based program, as curiosity of an engineer as well as the strength of the academics.
That's awesome. Do you have dual enrollment? If you have some students interested at high school level, want to take maybe some beginning engineering courses, do you have anybody do that yet? Or?
Not specifically for engineering courses. We've had a couple of students who've come in dual enrollment from high school to take some of our computer science courses and some of our physics courses. And in fact, the daughter of one of our faculty did that with the physics and went through 2 semesters of college level physics, a couple of semesters of calculus. Then she went off and has been doing some great things both in college and now is in postgraduate school.
Yeah, awesome. So I got my other alma mater of Spring Grove High School. They have a rocket program. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's a connection between Spring Grove and your college with rocketry, and I think Spring Grove is also helping Dover as well.
That's right.
How'd that evolve? And
yeah, that was amazingly enough all student driven.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of your college, is that if a student has an idea, they can bring it up to faculty and we're fully supportive. So we had one individual recruit a bunch of other students, then he recruited faculty. And over the past year, we've been involved in the NASA Student Lunch Club, and it's a national level competition that about 50 schools from around the nation, large schools, small schools. There's a high school division as well. And what they do is design and build a rocket that can be launched to hit an altitude of 1 mile, and then deploy a parachute and safely land.
yeah,
And that's pretty amazing for whether it's high school student or college level student. They did some really nice work.
expansion into civil engineering. You got a building beside you that's going to be completely civil engineering. Is that I assume it's a industry driver to do that, but what are you looking at as far as completion and getting students in there?
Great. Yeah, we started our civil engineering program 2 years ago, so we have freshmen and sophomores. And when we designed the program, we really did, again, look to industry, figured out what industry was demanding in terms of new engineering majors, and civil popped right up to the top. And so we started the program. Since we've doubled our size numerically in the last 10 years, Kinsler Engineering Center, we're basically out of room. And so we went to the college and asked for another building, and they were kind enough to give us the building right next door, renovate it, and that'll be ready for classes starting this fall. And our faculty, civil engineering faculty, will be moving in there this summer, later on this summer, to get the laboratories all set up and everything ready to go. I've been going to some of the planning meetings and construction meetings. They're hitting all their milestones, and so we're very excited to move in there in this fall.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're out of time for this segment. Really appreciate everything you're doing, the refurbishing of some great old buildings, and obviously if you're looking for engineering, you get to play with some cool toys as well as learn a lot of instructional course material. So thank you both for joining us today.
Sure.
Appreciate
Well, thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Here we are at Grumbacher Sports and Fitness Center at York College campus. Joining me is Scott Geist, Director of Athletic Communications for the department here. Obviously, this is a beautiful building. When I graduated in 2002, we had the old Wolf Gymnasium.
Certainly some very good memories there, but we like this place a little bit more.
Yeah, little jealous, I gotta admit. Phenomenal facilities, rock climbing wall, a huge fitness center. We were joking beforehand, I like the little room we're in was about that size.
It was a closet back in those days, and certainly the offerings that we have now in the fitness center are pretty incredible, and certainly gets a lot of use by our student body.
Yeah, obviously, and it's good, keeps them athletic, keeps them kind of burn some energy, and great way to spend time.
Yeah, one of the great things about this facility is the ability for us to be able to hold intercollegiate events while also hosting recreation events, because our field house has the ability to kind of be away from, if we're hosting a basketball game, students still can enter in and go down and use it for either recreation or intramurals. So we get a lot of use out of multi-use out of all the facilities. The pool gets used by a lot of different groups. So it's really a multifaceted facility and really serves us pretty well.
Yeah. So what do you have here? Obviously, we hit the rock climbing wall, which is new. I know I've been in here for different events and just lines waiting to go.
Yes,
on that.
And one of the things that we really enjoy hosting, we get the boys and girls YAIA championships each year. That packs the joint. It's really a neat atmosphere when you have people lined up. We actually had that situation when we hosted the NCAA basketball tournament this year for our men's team. So it really kind of creates a neat environment. This is really loud. When you're sitting in here and this place is full, it creates a really dynamic atmosphere and really makes it something special. We host swim meets. We also host track and field meets outside. Of course, soccer, field hockey, and lacrosse. So there's a lot of things that go on in this complex that really keep a lot of us pretty busy. But it's really kind of a neat place to be, and really a point on campus where everybody can kind of come and have something a little bit different, whether you're coming as a spectator or you're coming to work out or you're coming as to participate in intramurals. We have something for everybody.
Yeah, I know. I took my boys. They're 8 and 5. My oldest does summer basketball camp here, but we came to watch some York College games. Got to see some of the tournament playoff stuff.
We had an amazing year. Coach Matt Hunter put together a team this year, 24 wins. It was so much fun, and a conference championship to go along with it, which the banner just got hung last week, so that's a great thing for us. But just to create that camaraderie that sports can create, and whether it's lacrosse with going to the NCAA tournament for the men and women, or basketball, or volleyball, or whatever sport, wrestling, we've hosted regionals here before, it just creates such a sense of community, and I think that we're so fortunate that we have such strong support from the York County community. Not only do we have parents that are in attendance, but we have a pretty staunch group of supporters from the community, and that's something that we find really special.
Yeah. What's it like being a student athlete? Obviously, you have away games, you travel, you have tournaments, you may play a lot, but you have all the academics on top of that. How do they handle the pressures of the academic rigor on top of the athletics?
We do a really good job of it. Our student GPA is around 3.25. We are close to tabulating grades for this spring. But I was told actually before I came in today that all of our teams are right around 3.0 or 3.0 or above. That's an amazing accomplishment considering what these kids are expected to do. They're expected to be students first. One of the most important things we do as an institution is turn out young professionals. We have kids that are not going to go play professionally. We may have one or two. In fact, 2 of our basketball players are probably going overseas next year, which is really exciting for us. But ultimately, they're going to be professionals in their chosen field. So for us, the most important thing is just to produce really good people who their parents do a pretty good job of that. We just kind of add on a little bit. But also professionals ready to enter the workforce. And I think we do such a wonderful job of that. Our coaches really encourage them to be responsible students and to do well in school, and that's really a focus. But they also have a lot of demands of being a student athlete, lifting, practice, all the things you need to do. A lot of kids, you have to go down to the training room an hour and a half before practice to be able to practice and to be able to get ready. So it's really I have a ton of respect for our kids because they work really hard, and that's something that really you can't put a price on. And I think they're better for it in terms of being ready to work in the real world and working for different people. You know how it's like. Yeah. You get a boss that maybe isn't the greatest, but you still have to be able to do your job. So our kids do a great job with that and working with other people. I just think it's a it's such a win-win to have such great student athletes like we have.
So I usually joke when I watch college sports because they'll introduce the player and then their kind of
Their
field of
major,
student,
yeah.
general studies.
That's right. We don't have many of those guys.
Yeah.
Obviously nursing and engineering and teaching education are some of our big ones. We have a ton now with the engineering being a relatively young pursuit. We have so many student athletes that are engineers, and to balance that field of study along with nursing, it's also very difficult with that. But then you have student teaching. The demands on these kids are probably as great as it's ever been, but yet our kids are thriving unlike any other time we've had. It's so incredible to watch these kids from the time they're freshmen to now them as seniors, and the difference that they make, not only physically but just emotionally and mature. It's a really neat thing to see. The thing that stinks is having to say goodbye after 4 years. But we have a great alumni base who are here and come back and support often. So it's a really fortunate place for us to be.
Yeah, and obviously one aspect of athletics is teaching of leadership,
Yes.
obviously goal-oriented, a lot of teamwork associated with that. So on top of the academics that you get at your college, with the athletic program, you're also getting some real-world experience in real life.
There's no doubt about it. I think being able to work in a team and building relationships are two of the most important things that a student can learn at school. I always say I'm a relationships guy. I think relationships are critically important to anybody, not just people professionally, but in their personal lives. Being able to work with different teammates, being able to deal with coaches, being able to deal with expectations of professors, you really have to learn how to develop all those relationships to be successful. And I just think that's such a great way to prepare our kids for what they're going to do in the future.
Final question, is your college football team going to be undefeated again this coming year?
They are looking strong. We didn't make the rankings this year, which I don't know. We're undefeated.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Every year.
Every year. 1787. We've continued to be unbeaten, but I get that question quite often. But yeah, it's nice to have an undefeated team every once in a while. So it's been great.
Awesome. Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Keep
Seth.
up the great work.
Thank you.
Fortunately, we're out of time for this month's legislative report. I'm State Representative Seth Grove. Thank you for joining in. If you have any questions on anything you've seen here, the contact information for my office or your college will be posted at the end of the show. Thanks again. We'll catch you next time for Legislative Report.